everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Alex of Coyote Star Astrology, and this is my video for the new moon in Cancer coming in on June 28th, 2022, which is a Tuesday here in California. However, please do adjust for your current location as that time and date may change. Thank you so much for joining me. It feels really good to be back. It feels super grounding, super nourishing for me, actually. I know we are all of us are going through South Node Scorpio right now. So I know undoubtedly that there is not a single person listening to this right now that probably isn't going through the most transformation ever over the last few months. But quick shout out to those of you like myself who have South Nodes sweeping through their 8th house or sweeping through their Scorpio planets, because let me tell you, it is an entirely different beast. I have been walking through the craziest death portal maybe that I've ever been through, both symbolically and literally. Most prominently being, I do feel like I should announce it here because Coyote Star Astrology was really literally named after my beloved canine companion that walked with me for nearly 12 years. And he transitioned on June 16th. After a pretty gnarly battle, he was sick throughout that entire Gemini retrograde, Mercury retrograde. He transitioned on the 16th, so I needed to step away. I didn't do a video last time. I needed to process that grief and really sort of sink in to that chapter and close it out. And wow. I'm being spit out the other side. I'm doing good. I'm doing good emotionally. I'm processing. I have definitely a different level of respect for grief and love and separation, which is, funny enough, kind of in alignment with some of the energies that we have in this new moon spread. Anyway, thank you for listening. Here I am. The show must go on. We're moving forward, and what a profound time to be alive. In so many ways, we are in the season of Ash. So much security is being ripped away from so many people. But that means that it will be soon the season of rising. And that's something that I think we need to all remember as we go through South Node Scorpio energies, that luckily in astrology, there really is no real death. There's just change. And when something, especially something really important, is taken away, it's always, always, always replaced with the upgrade. So I know that so many people are going through that. And when we look at the new moon, we'll start there. It's at 7 degrees Cancer, which is interesting because a new moon is a new cycle. It's a new intention. And 7 degrees is in the first decan. So we are dealing with the beginning or the more underdeveloped aspect of that archetype, in this case, Cancer. Every sign has 30 degrees. So 7 degrees is that first decan. It's that first step. It's the first lessons. And in some ways, the more immature elements of Cancer. And Cancer, being the first of the 3 water signs, is in many ways the more emotionally and consciously immature, underdeveloped, almost childlike of the water signs. So we're dealing with our primal, unintegrated even emotions in this new moon. And I brought in Black Moon Lilith because she is up front and center this new moon. She's at 8 degrees, just 1 degree away. So Black Moon Lilith in Cancer is fusing her energies quite powerfully with this new moon. And Black Moon Lilith is the shadow feminine in us all. It's also unintegrated, primal, feral. And in Cancer, this is emotions. This is emotions that we feel deeply within, but also how they're expressed. And Cancer being the archetype associated with home and family, and the archetypal mother, this can be emotions that are invoked due to past memories and experiences from the home, from childhood, from the mother. There are many, but just to name a few, some of the shadows or the themes associated with Black Moon Lilith in Cancer can be grief, separation, almost like an empty nest, love not given from a parent that, of course, can be reflected through our relationships throughout life and may be stirred up now. Feelings of insecurity stemming from childhood, not feeling safe, codependence. So we have this new moon and this new cycle starting with that energy, which is quite interesting. But I do see a huge, 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 huge doorway of potential that I'm going to get to in a minute. But I just want to walk through some of the aspects being made to the new moon quickly, and then we'll get there. So, Jupiter in Aries at 7 degrees. Notice our moon is at 7 degrees. So that's an exact square with Jupiter in Aries. That is intense. Because Jupiter magnifies things, it makes things larger and it activates. And Aries is fire. And a square between the two, that's a tense aspect that can bring up the negative side, to be honest, the low frequency side of both. So for Aries, this is rage. This is like where tempers can flare hot. Very combustible, very combative. And then, of course, again with Cancer. So this can be aggravating and invoking the emotions and emotional responses in maybe kind of like an underdeveloped and immature way, again, stemming from unintegrated primal emotions from the past or within. Honestly, this whole chart looks like a gigantic angry crab to me. Or an incredibly angry woman. And when I was looking at this chart a few weeks back, I was like, whoa, what on earth is going to piss off the feminine? And right on schedule like clockwork, as always, Roe versus Wade headlines just a few days ago. So what's happening with that situation and the feminine rising in this very primal mama bear, protective, angry, and also grieving way is a macrocosmic representation of some of the energies that may be stirred up this new moon in Cancer. And again, this is going to hit everyone's chart differently, so it may not be as dramatic, but there is an element of that in the field, right? And because Jupiter is in Aries, Aries is about our individual conquest, meaning the shit we got to do on our own. No one can come with you. Our personal desires that sometimes take us far from home or take us away from our partners, or the things that, like our little security blankets, right? Jupiter in Aries is the warrior. Because it's in square to this moon, this tells me that this new beginning, this new cycle, and the essence of the times is about beginnings that force us from our safety. And even when we make that choice ourselves, it can still aggravate that inner child. This chart is also almost like a tantrum. And Jupiter in Aries shows that it's these outside new conquests or forces or beliefs. I say new because Jupiter just entered Aries not that long ago. So this Aries energy is new, and a lot of the processes that are coming with it are new. Something about this is stirring up emotions during this time. It may feel very emotionally intense. And we see this theme continue when we look at Mars at 25 degrees Aries, being squared by Pluto at 27 degrees Capricorn. So that's a very tight square between two volatile, malefic planets. especially because Mars is conjunct Aries, the goddess of discord and strife. So Mars is ready to go to battle right now. Mars is on fire. So this is definitely a time where we want to, as best we can, reel in and take accountability for our emotional reactions, especially because the primal nature of this new moon, this chart kind of has, you remember when you were a kid and you were like throwing a tantrum and making life incredibly difficult for your parents, and you kind of like knew you were being ridiculous, but you didn't care? Or you just couldn't control yourself. That's also what this new moon kind of feels like to me, where it's like, I know that this is coming from like my most sort of like unhinged or ridiculously immature emotional part of myself, but like I just need to feel it. It's just coming up. So what does this mean? Because it's a new moon, I mean, this is a new cycle where, because it's a new seed planted, I think we can use this new moon platform as an altar to bring in, receive, invite those unintegrated emotional aspects of self that feel threatened by so much new energy, and make an intention to spend the next 6 months really focusing on learning how to mature those areas and come into a more secure and self-reliant aspect of self. Whether that means creating daily practices to sort of like self-parent, or simply sitting with yourself in those moments that feel darkest and learning rather than looking externally to be able to provide that sense of safety and security from within. And self-reliance, again, is just so big in this chart right now because we have Mars in Aries square Pluto, we have Jupiter in Aries, and we have the North Node in Taurus. And the North Node in Taurus is forcing each one of us out of Scorpio, which is where those shadows like codependency and where we cling to other people lie. And it's where all the other dark things lie, like addiction and jealousy and everything like that as well, our self-sabotaging nature. So we're all being forced away from that, whether we're enjoying the process or being dragged kicking and screaming to our own metamorphosis. It's happening, and it's going to continue happening because, as you can see, Uranus is now at 17 degrees. Wow, the closest it's been to the North Node since the throughout the year. And, you know, that's only 4 degrees away. That's a tight orb. The two preparing to make their exact conjunction at the end of July and beginning of August. So this is just going to continue to amplify. And we've talked about this, but just for review, Uranus at the North Node. Uranus is the awakener that jolts us into change, forces us to level up, often with shocking, unexpected revelations, situations, and events. Uranus forces us to experiment, to break away from the old way that we have done things. North Node in Taurus has a lot to do with relationships and finances. So everyone is being forced to get into their genius and to welcome new ways of doing relationships and finances and new ways of providing internal security. And then, of course, end of July, August, that is just going to explode, and we will be riding that wave throughout the end of the year. So the good news is that Uranus favoring the North Node is going to help this transformative process and the solutions sort of hit hyperspeed in a lot of ways. But do not get me wrong, something at the North Node can be a real challenge, because if you're still in the South Node, man, you're getting forced out of that position and you're forced to evolve. So I'm terrified and also very excited about that. We have Venus now in Gemini, which is nice. That was a bit of a rough Gemini season because of the Mercury retrograde. And so Venus is helping smooth out some of the changes that took place over the last month. But yeah, what a new moon, you guys. Definitely choose your battles. There's going to be a lot out there who might be just feeling all the feels. So also give people space to maybe not be their most emotionally mature version of themselves. But yes, like I said, use it as an invitation to invite those underdeveloped emotional aspects of ourselves to the altar and set that intention to spend the next cycle healing what needs to be healed and learning new tools to mature in those areas. The opposition to Cancer is, of course, Capricorn, the adult. Getting a handle on those inner child wounds that sometimes get stirred up and display themselves emotionally. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and a share. I really appreciate it. I do have a waiting list for readings. I'm going to be opening up and scheduling September soon. So if you would like to get on my waiting list, I'm putting my email up there on the screen, coyotestarastrology@gmail.com. I'm also putting my Instagram. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, you can. I do a lot of astrology there as well. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Enjoy this new moon in Cancer, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.